Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Overthink Final Fantasy X with Beth. After many trials and tribulations, we finally made it to the Temple of Yevon at Jose, which appears to have no village to speak of. But truly, this will be very relaxed and in no way troublesome.
What can I do for
Auron,
you, boss?
why do you have to make everything difficult?
You know her. She would distance herself from you. We do not want that.
I see.
He has a ship and he will make it
Yeah,
canon.
Even if I did say something, no one believed me, you know?
Yuna would.
Yuna believed him about Xanarkand, after all.
Come to think of it, did I really have to know about Jekt? What
Yes.
about my feelings?
Yes, you really did.
You finding out at a critical moment, becoming emotional.
You like having two hands,
Emotional?
Tidus? In that case,
Quite the crybaby.
Yeah.
just accept the I am your father now when you have time to process it and aren't in the middle of combat.
Hey, I still don't buy your story, you hear?
He absolutely buys the story. And one of my favorite things about Tidus is that he's in no way stoic. He is not the stoic hero. He has a lot of feelings.
Yuna, it is good to see you and your companions are well.
Yourselves as well, Captain.
Hi, Captain Poor Fashion Sense.
Praise be to Yevon.
Oh, honey, Yevon had nothing to do with it.
Our lives, but our troops were decimated.
Technically, decimated means only killed one person in every 10, and this seems like it's more like the reverse.
We turned our backs on the teachings and cast away our faith. This is our just reward.
A lot of NPCs you'll see have that reaction, because it was exactly the reaction this whole thing was set up to produce. This is what happens when you cast away your faith in the teachings of Yevon. Horrible, horrible things.
Is that the Jose Temple?
Yes, and it is rumbling. I don't like it. Oh right, I have to move to activate this, even though the rumbling will continue. We only see this the once, and it is by far the coolest temple, in my opinion. It's just inside a rock that the lightning can expand at any time.
The lightning mushroom rock. It only opens when a summoner is addressing the faith.
Thank you, Guardian Exposition.
Another summoner?
What if it's Donna?
We have to hurry.
Right.
Yuna doesn't
Here
want
we go.
anyone else dying before her. Right, in we could go, or we could come here to see what we have wrought. Hi, what we have wrought.
Where is he?
I found him. He was torn in half.
That
Oh, Gata.
idiot!
What do I do now? I can't do this. I'm going back to Besaid.
Waka, give him a hug. You're good at hugs. I'm going to assume the important hug happened off camera.
He's...
This is what happens if you tell Gata to stay behind. Luzu dies horribly. The consequences of your actions. Just in case you felt like, geez, this was a happy, fun adventure. This game is very much about the after effects of death and disaster.
I beg
Ah,
your
another
pardon.
summoner.
May I ask your name?
I am Summoner Yuna from the Isle of Besaid.
As I thought. The daughter of Lord Braska. You have the look of your father.
What, made out of stone?
Father, you knew him?
No, I have never met the man. Ah, my apologies.
Yeah, everyone seems to think they know Braska very well, even if they've never met him.
I'm Bussy. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Maroda.
I'm guarding my big brother here.
Since I was a child, I've always looked up to Lord Braska. I wish
Presumably
I would someday
not
become a
the
high summoner
heretical
like he
bits.
was. You must have some of your father's talent in you. I believe you might someday defeat sin.
I'm not really. I've only just become a summoner.
Both
Of course,
modesty
I have no intention of losing either.
and Seymour put a little bit of an
Perhaps we
assault
should
on her
race to see
self-esteem
who can
earlier.
defeat sin first, no?
That is the most macabre
I accept the
game I
challenge.
have ever contemplated.
Yuna, I
Let's
beg your
race
leave.
to our horrible
Good luck
deaths.
to both of us.
Yes.
And they actually both want to win. So that's Isaru, Maroda, and Pase. That's the brothers. You have to figure that they have no parents or, for that matter, institutional support to speak of. Otherwise, I can't imagine Isaru and Maroda taking Pase along on such a dangerous quest that is intended to end with at least one of them dead, if they had anywhere else that they could keep him. Anyone else to take care of him. Yeah, more aftermath. Scott in here yet?
It's so pretty.
Just Pase. I figure these statues, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, are representative of the summoners who failed, out of respect for those who gave their lives in an attempt to defeat sin. And I callously come in here to take everything. For my money, that's the most simply heartbreaking line that gives you a kind of horrible sense of how much damage this attack by sin did. They're not just out of healing potions, they're not just out of bandages, they're out of funeral shrouds.
I heard it from those crusaders. Seems that summoners have been going out on pilgrimage and just disappearing.
It could just be the fiends got them, but not so many so quickly.
Subplot
Sorry I don't know
flag.
more, but watch your back. Ain't much future for a guardian without a summoner, eh?
What? What y'all talking about?
We're talking about doing your job as a guardian.
Hey, I'm doing good. Right, big brother?
Please be careful.
Will do.
Don't worry, we'll be fine.
Pase!
You may not be, though.
We're leaving!
Be right there. See ya.
The cloister of trials lies within. Are you prepared?
Yep, I'm as ready as I'll ever be. And in fact, since this is one of the ones I know best, possibly plenty ready.
We are ready.
All right, let's do it.
Funny how Waka appears to be in charge of the cloister aspect. Maybe they take turns being the boss. So the way this goes is you've got the Jose spheres mostly to manipulate. Because you need these ones to open the door. You need them both in here. to make the electric door electrify. And you also need to light up all of the elements of the Yevon symbol in the middle of the floor, but that's going to take some finagling. So while I do this, I'll chat about this segment of the game, which is in some ways very subversive of the video game genre as a whole, because it's all about the consequences of the game violence. It's not just that, here's, early to mid-game where you try to defeat the boss and you fail. It's, here's a whole bunch of people that die, and the ones who are left behind are mourning, are feeling worthless, or experiencing survivor's guilt. And the NPCs have a lot of different reactions, which is interesting and makes it much more compelling to my mind. Like, you can get a general trend of the NPCs, but they don't have just a couple lines shared between them. There's a sense of a real population that has really been devastated. And it's dealing with the consequences, with the aftermath. It's a lot of fun in this game, or at least adds depth to the story. I'm not sure if this is fun to watch people experience post-traumatic stress disorder, but it certainly adds a lot to the world and to the story to talk to a lot of the NPCs, even the ones without specific names, because effort was really put into making them individuals and giving them enough variety that even with limited numbers of character models, it's clear that they aren't all the same, that there's a world going on here. And Tidus is kind of stumbling through that world. There we go, almost done with this segment. Just have to take these guys in the pedestal back to where the ones we put in the door were originally, to fill out the wings of the symbol. At least they always look like wings to me. To me, the symbol looks like an eagle with an eyeball for a head. I don't know if that's what I'm meant to be seeing, but I spend enough time staring at it, especially during this cloister, that I end up resolving it into some kind of shape. So the other NPCs we just met is Saru, Maroda, and Passe. Of course, we'll see more of them later because this game never uses a character once when they could use them more than once and get extra mileage out of them. Are a group of brothers, judging by their different facial features, probably adopted or half-brothers in some wise, who are all on this journey, which is really awful when you think that everybody does know here that this is going to end in Isaru's death, that that's the goal, and they're still taking Passe along. Which is why I think that they must be all alone in the world, because otherwise I can't imagine them just bringing, he's a kid. He's like, what, 10? Maybe? On this trip where he's going to see his brother die if they had any choice. And if this wasn't a question of, well, they're the only people the Passe has to take care of him. And I think some of the same reason that Yuna brings her family with her, which is that she wants to have them by her side as long as she can. Boom, there we go. Destruction sphere all set, and it pops out a magic sphere for you. And then up the stairs, into the plot. For the first time, we're actually supposed to be here, instead of falling in or falling over.
Yuna will be blamed if anything happens.
Well, you again. Still traveling with quite the crowd, I see. What is it, Bartello? You know this riffraff?
You are.
She is the meanest mean girl.
No? What of it? Can I shake your hand? Auron. No, Sir Auron. You're the reason I became a guardian.
Auron's got a fan.
So much to me.
Calling the personal guardian of Lord Braska riffraff?
And you call yourself a summoner?
Waka and Lulu fight a lot, but when they decide to fight on the same side, they can 1-2 punch like nobody's business.
I swear, I'll never wash this hand again.
Please, touch me with that hand and I'll remove it.
Please wash your hands, Bartello. It is hygienic. And for once I remember how to kick off the cutscene. Go me.
You owe much to your father. All these
Having been told, Donna is nevertheless quick to recover and change
and I hear
tactics.
Maester Seymour is quite taken with you.
She's
The world must look different when you're the daughter of Lord Braska.
This has nothing to do with my father. I'm traveling on my
sneering,
own
but I
as a
think she's also
full-fledged
honestly
summoner.
resentful.
Oh, is that so? Then try standing on your own two legs for once.
Because Yuna does get a lot that Donna doesn't get.
Your guardians won't be able to protect you when the time comes.
Ouch. And on that cheerful note, time to wrap up for today. As always, we love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time.